Shall we start?
Rabbi, shut up!
Okay, so good afternoon. It's a pleasure to see you all here. I'm JC. I've met most of you during first year at least for IT Toolbox. So assuming that you are finishing your second year or you are finishing your placement year, and that next year, hopefully, you will all be in third year working on your final year projects. Okay? And so I am the person coordinating the final year projects. And as you know, it's a big module. Okay? Arguably, it's the most important module that you will have at Kingston University for your 3 years. And it's very important to start early. Okay? Just to scare you a little bit, you are going to come back at the end of September, and within 2 weeks you will have your first deadline for your final year project. Okay? Which means if you start thinking about it in end of September, that will be a very bad start. Yeah? So we want you to get started now. Maybe you still have 1 or 2 exams, so complete your exams successfully, and then start thinking about your final year project. Okay? So it's not a full-time job, but keep it in the back of your mind and make sure that some thinking is going on. Okay. So I'm going to give you an introduction about what those projects are about. Then Graham Jones will be giving you a bit more technical details, some guidelines. And then I will have a few colleagues telling you about their expertise and their type of projects and what is required for those types of projects. So we'll have projects from different areas, so you will have a better understanding of what is expected for all of those. Okay, so first of all, let's try to define what is a final year project. So I believe it's going to be the pinnacle of your academic achievements as an undergraduate at Kingston University. Basically, it's your main opportunity to showcase your skills and expertise. Everything is going to go together. Everything you have learned during your 3 years, maybe what you have learned during your placement year, everything is coming together and produce a product, a unique product, which is your final year project. Obviously, that's what we will be speaking about during your job interviews. I can reassure you that when you will go to your job interview, they will not ask you, what mark did you get at IT Toolbox? Yeah? They don't care about IT Toolbox. They've never heard of IT Toolbox. Yeah? What they really want to know, they know that you have good marks, or the marks you got, you have a degree with a different classification. But what they really want to know is, what are you able to deliver? Okay? They are not interested in you delivering good marks. Yeah? It's a good sign that you can get good results at university, but they want you to be able to deliver some kind of product. Okay? So when you go to your interview, they will ask you, what was your final year project about? Okay. What did you make? Same story if you decide, instead of going for a job directly, to go for some postgraduate program. They would like to know what you can do, what is your expertise. Okay? Maybe some of you are very excited about all the deep learning stuff going on. Maybe you would like to do a master in artificial intelligence. But do you have got what it gets to do artificial intelligence? Very brainy stuff. If you already have done a project which touches that topic, that's a good way to make sure to get that master programs or PhD programs you're interested in. Maybe your final year project will allow you to create your own startup company. Okay? So you will not have to worry too much about being the interviewee, but you will be the interviewer. You will look at your friends and say, I need 5 of you for my company. Okay? You may be aware that Kingston University is the first university in the UK for students creating their own startup company. Okay? There's a whole support team. There's even money for people who have great ideas, who have had successful projects, and who wants to make a business out of it. Okay? Have some of you heard about a project called FaceMash? FaceMash? Yeah? It was 3 students, second-year students, started this small project, was becoming successful, a bit annoyed about it, spend a bit of more time, change the name to Facebook, and
What's the name?
it was called FaceMash initially. Change the name to Facebook, and now, yeah, they have an easy life.
And they were from Kingston.
So the final year project can be really a start your career in many different ways. Okay. So it's also what is going to define you professionally initially. Okay. You are going to be the e-commerce guy because you have done that website, or you are going to be this image processing app person. Okay. The fact that you had these marks and you were at Kingston are maybe not that important anymore. Okay. So it's definitely something which will mention your CV. Okay. So think about it when you will be choosing a project. Is it how I want to be known for the next few years? Okay. How I want to sell myself. The final year project is also a massive piece of work. Okay. It's a straight 30 credit modules, which means that we are expecting 300 hours of work. Okay. Which means we are expecting 10 hours of work every week during the whole year. Okay. So it's not a small module where, yeah, just a few weeks before the exam you start revising. You know, it's a sustained effort for the whole year. Okay, and that's the 300 hours is what is kind of recommended. People who are going to have more ambitious projects will put much more hours. Yeah. So it's what we are. So it's not an exercise anymore. Okay, it's not trying to take techniques and see if you can make them work. It's a large-scale project, possibly the largest project so far that we will have completed. And what is really important is that it's going to be an independent and original piece of work. Okay, so you are going to work on you are going to be the project manager. Okay, it's your project. It's not your supervisor project. It's not your client's project. It's your project. You are the project manager. You have the responsibility. Okay, and it's going to be an original piece of work. Okay, we are not going to reproduce something which exists already. It's not an exercise. You know, it's a real thing. It's something that hopefully someone needs. But keep in mind that you are the project manager. That's a very important aspect of the final year project. So the final year project is also a deliverable. Okay, we are expecting some kind of product at the end. You know, it's not just doing some academic thinking for a year. Okay. So if you want to be successful in your final year project, you are going to spend so many hours for so much time. You know, you really need to be interested in it. Okay. So otherwise, you will not maintain the effort. You know, that is required for successful completion. The good thing is you are choosing it. Okay? So you cannot say, yeah, I was imposed that project that I hate. No, it's your project. You decided to take that project, and maybe you designed that project. Okay? So it's your responsibility to do something you are really passionate about, so that at the end you will be delivering something fantastic. The best projects have a client. Okay? Because doing a project for oneself doesn't allow you to show off all your skills. Imagine one of the skills you want to show up in the project is, for example, a collection of the requirements. Okay? So if you have a client, you will have an interview, you will be discussing with them, collect the requirements, put them in a format, go back to the client, and decide if you have captured those requirements appropriately. Obviously, if it's your own project, you are going to speak to yourself and say, yeah, JC, what do you think I should do in that project? Yeah. Oh, yeah, JC, you have done a great job in collecting those requirements. It's exactly what JC wanted. Yeah? So you can say it sounds a bit silly, okay? And at the end of the project, when you have produced the product, you want to show it to your client and say, okay, the deal was for me to design or to build that thing. Here it is, how it is. Okay. Again, if I don't have a client, it's JC looking, oh, what JC has done is fantastic. JC wouldn't have done better than that. Okay. So it means that if you don't have a client, it's a bit of an artificial project, and you cannot show much of your skills in the analysis, some aspect of the analysis, and some aspect of the evaluation. Okay? However, it's still possible to do a project without a client, but it means that you will have to show stronger skills in the other aspects. Okay? You will have to show maybe a much better implementation or much better design. Okay? So keep that in mind, that having a client is always a plus, even if it's not an absolute requirement. And obviously, if you have a client, the product is not just for you, it's for someone else, for a community, for a business, which is much more rewarding. Obviously, your final year project should be in line with your course. Okay? So if your course is on cyber security, we are expecting some aspect of cyber security in your project. Okay? Same thing if you are doing a project in, if your course is in games programming, we would expect a game. Yeah? Again, think about the next step. You are going to go to your employer, you want a job as a game programmer, and you have done an e-commerce website. How is it going to help you to get that job? Okay. So a good project is really about demonstrating all your skills. Okay, it's not just I'm very good at designing or very good at implementing, but I cannot do anything else. Okay, it's to show that you are able to complete a whole project from the start to the finish. Produce a nice report, produce some nice documentation, do some great analysis, some great design, a literature review, and some implementation and evaluation. Okay. So it's also a way to show your creativity. You know, employers are not interested in robots. You know, they want individuals who have their own opinions, their own ideas, which are creative. You need to show some critical thinking. Okay, you need to show that you are not a sheep. You are not doing that everybody is doing just because they are doing it. You have showed some high critical abilities, saying I'm doing that path because I have analyzed what is around, and that's the way forward. At the end, you are going to produce quite a big report, chunky report of 50 pages. And that's also an important type of skill that you have to demonstrate, okay? Because a product without the appropriate documentation, you know, you are not going to go very far. And it's also to demonstrate your ability to solve problems. Okay? Problem solving is really what employers are interested in. And also they are interested in seeing that you understand the wider context. Okay? You are not just working in Kingston University, you know what's happening in the whole world. Okay? You know what face mesh is, for example. Yeah? Okay, so in order to simplify a bit how projects are organized, we have 3 categories. But you will see that 2 categories are almost the same. There's not a big difference. So one of them is called the build project. The other one is called the design project. And the third one is called the research project. Okay, I'm going to define each of them afterwards. Just before I forget, obviously all the slides, all the material will be made available hopefully this afternoon. The whole lecture is filmed, the camera there, so it will be on YouTube very soon as well, which means that if you have missed something, or if some of your colleagues couldn't come, the material is available. So there are those 3 types of projects, and each of them has a slightly different marking scheme, because we are expecting different deliverables and different skill sets to be shown. Okay. So in the build project, typically we are expecting some application to be developed. So that's the final product. So it could be an image processing app. It could be a video game, an e-learning system, or maybe some custom web application. So it can be some very different type of things. But at the end of the day, you have some kind of software, some kind of website that you can show off. Okay? And that it's a complete working system. So the end product is a product itself. A design final year project is slightly different because your output may be some kind of system modeling or some simulation. Okay? So maybe you are going to design an information management system, some network design, working with interesting protocols, or maybe some theoretical framework for an information system problem. Okay? So in that case, the focus is more on the design of the solution than on the implementation of the solution. However, you still need to demonstrate that your design is kind of sound. Okay? Because it's nice to do some fantastic diagrams and say, yeah, here's my solution. We want to know if it makes sense. Okay? So you need to provide some kind of proof of concept, which means that there will be some kind of light implementation. Okay? Maybe you are going to use a content management system in order to show the website you have designed. Okay? So you are not going to do the coding yourself, but all the principles of design, you will integrate them in this content management system. Or you will have some kind of simulation, okay, showing that your system, your design is sound. A warning is that a design project very often addresses a problem which is more complex than implementation, a build project. Okay? Imagine that you want to do, if the project is about helping your local takeaway place to have a website for buying products and ordering and so on. As a design project, that wouldn't run. Okay? Because the complexity of the problem is very simple. Imagine how many tables do you have in your database in your local takeaway place. Okay? 5 tables, 10 tables pushing very hard. Do you need 1 year to design the system for that? Okay? While if you are in a build project and you are working on some such type of client, you could design an implementation which requires some very advanced programming. Imagine that it's you want to order some pizza, and the user can design the pizza themselves. Okay, they can create the pizza visually using some graphic interface. Okay, I want a bit of mushroom here, a bit of chicken there, tomatoes and cheese. Okay, so that can become a very exciting project using 3D graphics, 2D graphics. Maybe you can go crazy and go virtual reality. You know, there are many things you could do with that. But on the design side, there's not much. You know, it's still your 5 tables connecting to each other. On the other hand, if you wanted to work for Kingston University and you want to design a unique database system, you know, because at the moment you have study space, you have OSIS, you have all those systems working, maybe they want to design and create a unified system. So here we are speaking about hundreds and hundreds of tables. Okay? So there is no chance that within 1 year you are going to implement a new system. However, you can provide a new design for that, or at least for part of it. And it's going to be a very complex design, which will allow you to demonstrate some high-level technical skills in terms of design. Okay? So the design project very often requires a much more complex problem. Okay? So it's not the easy way out for the final year project. And then there is a research project. Okay? As you may be aware, in the UK, every academic has a double life. Okay? They spend 50% of their time as a lecturer, teacher, and 50% of the time doing some academic research, okay? Creating new stuff, which has never been done before. And that's your opportunity to work on those aspects of their lives. Okay? So it's about research in this context, because when you speak about research, very often you think, yeah, it's doing a literature review, it's reading about a lot of stuff and summarizing stuff. That's nothing to do with that. Okay, so just forget about it. Writing a report just with literature review, that's for social science. Okay? Here we are on IT courses. Okay? We want some technical skills to be demonstrated. So what we really want to do is to contribute to human knowledge and discoveries. Okay. So that's why I use a photograph of Einstein, because that's really what it's about. Okay? So it's doing something which has never been done before. Okay? Trying to do it. Maybe you will not manage, but it doesn't matter, it's research. Okay? It's not just about finding, it's about the journey. Okay? Or it's developing some more advanced technologies. Okay? You have all studied the sorting algorithms, you know, many flavors. Maybe we'll come up with a new one, which is faster than the other ones, or which requires less memory than the other ones. Okay? That's what research is about. It's scary, can be exciting, it's challenging, but can be rewarding. Okay? Regularly, some of our students publish their results in academic conferences. Okay? There is some result that we want to share with the world because it's new, it's unique, and can be useful. Okay? So they will jet out, go to a nice conference. I have a student at the moment, at this very moment, which is in the south of Spain, presenting some work they have done. Okay. So, especially if your ambition is, for example, to do a PhD, so really focused on the research aspect, that's a good first step. First, you will have an understanding of what research is. Maybe you will see if you are good at it, if you like it. And obviously, if you go for a PhD interview and you have already demonstrated that you have research abilities, that will make your path much easier. But again, it's not about literature review. Okay, it's not collecting articles. You know, it's building stuff eventually. So, as I said, it's solving a problem which has never been done before. Better algorithm, better methodology, faster, more accurate. However, or maybe it's analyzing data using very advanced computing systems, artificial intelligence, deep learning, all that crazy stuff that everybody is speaking about. that's going into the research. Okay? If it sounds scary, it's likely to be in the research. If it sounds easy, it doesn't go in. Okay? Okay, so now you have an understanding of the three types of projects. How do we get started? Okay, coming here at this event is really the first step, so well done. What is the next step? First of all, you need to understand, is there a type of project which fits better your abilities and your ambitions? Okay. So if you are a great programmer, it looks like a build project is the best for you. If you think that, on the other hand, your design, your database, you can do advanced database modeling and stuff like that, it looks like design would be better. Or if you want to do a PhD, let's go for try a research project. What are the topics you are interested in? Okay. Are you interested in e-commerce, in artificial intelligence, in image processing? You know, what are you interested in? Because, you know, as I said, you need to sustain your effort, your motivation for a whole year. Okay? And obviously, this topic needs to be fitting into your course, as I said before. So think about our ideas. If you are trying to do a research project, generally the idea is not coming from you. Okay? It's very advanced stuff. We are competing against the best in the world, against MIT and all the others. It's unlikely that you know what is the state of the art. Okay? However, all the academics at Kingston, they are part of that competition. In their field, they are one of the best in the world. Okay? Maybe quite a narrow field, but they know exactly who are the person to beat, what is the work which is done at the moment. Okay? So, according to your interest, you need to go to those academics. Yes. And really have a passion in image processing, in medical image processing. You know. What kind of challenge do you think we could try to tackle together in a research project? If you cannot find the right academic, I mean, you know already many of us. On the website, obviously, if you look at the page of each academics, you will know what are their interests, expertise, and publications. But if you are not sure, just ask me. Okay? So if you want to do medical imaging, I would say, speak to Sarah Barman. Okay? It's a good starting point, and she may help you to get a research project there. The majority of you, okay, will go for the build and the design project. So where is this idea coming from? Okay. Some of you are just back from placement. That's fantastic. Okay. You have been living inside a company for almost a year. You have a good understanding of their business, but you also have an understanding of their limitations. What is the piece of software, what kind of system would make their life better, produce products cheaper, okay? So that's maybe your final year project, designing that system, building that software, okay? So hopefully you have a good relationship with that company already, during your placement. Speak to them, okay? You have an idea, would they be happy to be your client? They may pay you, they may not pay you. Okay, that's not what we are really concerned here. But that may be a great way of defining your final year project. Then there is your life outside Kingston University. Okay? You are all members of communities, clubs, arts activities, many friends, families, current employer, past employers. You know all this network of people. Maybe you have identified a need that you could solve by generating your final year project. Okay? And they could act as your client. Then think about your interests. What are you really excited about? Every year, there are students, since they were little kids, they were dreaming of something, Yeah, I really would like to build that games with monsters and stuff. And that was their dream like a little kid, And they decided to do an IT degree because that's what they wanted to do, So they have already everything in their head, exactly what they wanted to do. And now the final year project is the time to build that system. Okay. So maybe already you have something you want to work with. Okay. And obviously it can come from any topic. Anything legal and of good taste is very welcome. Okay. And as I say, having a client is always better, but it's not a must. Okay, so make sure that if you don't have a client, have a chat with a potential supervisor for an academic, and they will tell you if it's an obstacle to a successful project or not. Okay. So if you have an idea or several ideas, come to us and speak to us. And we will tell you if your idea fits the requirements of a final year project in IT at Princeton University. Okay, that's the first requirement. And secondly, if it's reasonable. Is it something which can be done in 1 year? Okay. Or is it something too simple? You spend 3 weeks and that's it. So it's not going to be a successful final year project. So it's very important to have this conversation with us. Okay. So approach the person you think has the best expertise, or the person you know best, maybe your personal tutor, some lecturer with whom you had a very good rapport, or if you know who is the database supremo at Kingston University and you want to do a database project, that's the person to speak with. Okay. Maybe you are going to try very hard to find those ideas and they are not coming. Okay? That happens every year. Okay? That's not a big problem. So this year we have a long list of project ideas that all academics in the school have produced. Okay? So at the moment I think we have 59 and it's growing. Okay? So that's 59 projects which have already passed the first obstacle. It does fit an IT degree at Kingston, and it can be completed within the scope of the final year project. And you have a client who is the supervisor who would like to act as client for that project. Okay? So a lot of good things about them. Okay? So have a look at them, and maybe you will find the project you really are excited about. Okay? So I'm just giving one example. One of the projects I am offering. Okay? I like traveling around, and when I'm traveling, I'm always excited about trying some new food product. What is the local cake, what is the local cheese, and what is the local dish. So what I would like is to have a Google Map application, and when I'm running Google Map, all around the map, I have the different products that could be tried in that region, for example. Okay? Or when I'm traveling abroad, I would like to know what are the specialties I would like to try. Okay? And so I think it's an interesting project because you are going to work with Google Maps API, which can be quite exciting. You are going to create some kind of website that could be used by many users. But also the challenge really in the project, I think, is to collect the data. Okay? Because finding a place where you will have the list of all the British fantastic cakes, that's quite easy. Okay? But how do you convert that data on dots on your Google map? Okay? How do you know that the scone, where are you going to put scone on the map? Or the cream tea on the map? Okay? So you are going to do a bit of data mining, to associate those names with locations. So maybe you are going to take those names, then automatically go to a Wikipedia page about that product, collect the places, and then convert those places into Google Map locations. Okay? And obviously you want that to be dynamic. Okay? So that when new products are created, automatically they appear on your map. Okay? So that's one of those 59 projects so far. And if you like one of those 59 projects, you know who offered that project, just contact them. And they will have a chat with you to see if you have the skills, the motivation in order to be successful in that project. Yeah.
Excuse me, but you said it has to be original idea. So,
I mean, original in the sense that it has never been done before. Okay, it doesn't need to come exclusively from you. Okay, so if you have a client, usually the idea is coming mainly from the client, but obviously you will make yours. You are going to customize it. Okay, it's a dialogue, obviously, between the client and yourself. Yeah. Maybe you are reading. You don't have any idea. You are reading the 59 and still, you are not there, okay? What to do? So maybe you want to use this idea as inspiration, okay? Because until now you didn't know how final year project looked like. Now you have 59 examples of final year project. So maybe that's not the one you want to do, but you can maybe change them a little bit and make them your own, okay? So make your own perfect project. So Google Map for gourmet traveler. Okay? You may say, yeah, I like the Google Map aspect, I like the database aspect, but the gourmet stuff, you really need to be French to like that. Who cares about smelly cheese? Okay, who cares? Yeah, I do, but maybe you don't. Okay? So you say, yeah, this project could be perfect if it was on something a bit more exciting. I'm not interested in cheese. So that's fine. So maybe you could create a Google map for the film buff with set locations. You are traveling around Britain and you say, yeah, on the Google map you could say, yeah, that's the Harry Potter castle, that's the Bandit like Beckham Stadium, and that's where the latest car chase in the James Bond film took place. Technically, it's very similar to the other one, but maybe that's something which is going to excite you a bit more. So why not offering that project? Okay. So you have this starting point, this maybe 59, but you can build on that and create the project you are really interested in. Okay. So set location, but maybe it's about sport. What important sporting event has taken place in this area? Where was the players or athletes coming from? You can do it your own. That's not a problem. So it means that those 59 projects actually can grow to hundreds of projects using your own creativity. And again, now that you have an understanding, you have an ideas, and you have already some details about it's a Google map, it's a bit of database, a bit of data mining, you can go to the lecturers and they will tell you if it fits the bill. Okay? So if you go for the film buff project, come to me, I'm interested in that. Okay? So the final year project has three very important components. Yourself, the project manager, the idea, okay, you have the client as well, but then you have the academic supervisor, okay? And it's very difficult to be successful in a final year project if you don't have the support of your academic supervisor. Yeah. So they are going to guide you during the entire project, okay? It's the first time you are going to do such a large project for such an amount of time with so many different deliverables. You need someone in the background helping you with that. you should see them regularly. You are expected to see them every week. Okay. Most of the meetings will be group meetings that will be organized and timetabled. Okay. But obviously, sometimes you will need a one-on-one meeting. So, but in that case, remember, you are the project manager. So if you want a one-on-one meeting, you ask for a one-on-one meeting. Okay. It's not the role of the supervisor to say, yeah, shall we meet? No, you are the project manager. The supervisor, at the end of the day, is just one of the resources you can use. So obviously, the supervisor has experience in those projects, so they will be helping you to define your project and also to make sure that the scope, that the project is not too big and too small. Okay, so you can come up with an idea, and your supervisor will say, what about adding those bits? Or maybe removing those bits? You know, what do you think? So there will be a dialogue in order to make sure that the project will meet the academic requirements, but also your requirements so that you are motivated and enthusiastic about it. The supervisor may offer you technical support, but they may not know everything about that. Okay? Because a project will be based very often on different types of technologies, and nobody is an expert in everything. So they will help you on some aspects, and then they will direct you towards a colleague who is an expert in the other aspects. Okay? So it's not just working with one person. Actually, you are working with a whole school of computing. Okay? Obviously, they will give you the project management support, because that's very important. And if you are on your own, you are doing it for the first time, that's very difficult. But remember, the supervisor is just giving you advice. They are not giving you instructions. They are not your boss. Who is the boss of the project? Yourself. Yeah? Keep that in mind. So the project is at the end your responsibility. So, how do we allocate supervisors? Yeah? So we have a first deadline, which is end of June, so it's a bit in 2 months' time. Yeah? You tell us which supervisor you want. Okay? And how you do it, you contact a supervisor, you have a chat about the project you want to work with. If the supervisor believes it's a suitable project and that they're interested to work with you on that project, together you send me an email saying, I've spoken with that academic, they are happy to supervise me for that year, and you are allocated to that academic. So you get your ideal supervisor, the person you want to work with. Okay? If the academic wants you, no problem, you will be allocated to that academic. Yeah? The issue is obviously a single academic cannot supervise everybody. Okay? So there is going to be a limit. So some of the colleagues are very popular. All the students want to work with them for some reason. Okay? They must be doing something right. Yeah? So that's why being early is always a good thing, because once they are full, they are full. And I will say, yeah, that's a great project. I would have liked to work with you, but my supervision load is full. Maybe you should contact someone else. Yeah? So it's about getting an agreement between yourself and the supervisor. Yeah? In some cases, you will not manage to get an agreement because your ideas was not ready yet, or you didn't have the chance to speak with the supervisor you wished. And instead of having no idea, you can send me an email saying, I don't have an agreement, but if possible, could you allocate me to that person? And I will try to do my best. Okay? But obviously, people who have an agreement have the priority. In any case, by 30th of June, I will have received your agreements, your desires, and some people don't send me anything, okay? That's fine. By mid-July, everybody will have a supervisor. So if you had an agreement, you know who you are going to get. If you suggested someone, hopefully you will get that person. Otherwise, it will be allocated at random. Okay? And we don't change supervisors. Okay? When it's done, it's done. So the deadline, the first deadline was today, so you have met that deadline. Well done. The next deadline, as I said, is the 30th of June, in order to tell me who should be your supervisor, with agreement or just a suggestion. Mid-July, you will know who your supervisor is. During the summer, I mean, I hope you will relax a bit, have a bit of a break of Kingston. But, you know, ideally it would be good to keep some contact with that supervisor, exchange a bit of ideas, maybe meet a couple of times, okay? Or maybe through Skype if you cannot do it face-to-face, to make sure that you have a good understanding of what your project is going to be, okay? So, is it well defined? Is the scope really set? And maybe some of you will do some preliminary work during the summer. Okay, you want to create this new project, and it happens that you need to be able to do some image processing. You have never done any image processing. So maybe the summer is the time to learn the basics about image processing. Okay? I mean, some students do a lot of work on their final year project during the summer, which means that then they have the year a bit quieter on that module. Okay? That's a possibility as well. And as I said, you will have a supervisor. I mean, obviously the supervisor will have some annual leaves, okay? They are not going to be here during the whole summer, but there will be times to be in contact with them and advance the project a bit. The most important deadline is going to be early October, usually after 2 or 3 weeks at Kingston. I'm going to ask you to submit project proposals, and that counts as 10% of your final mark. Okay? So you are just back, and I want that document. So it means that if you didn't do anything about it, you didn't have any ideas about your project, that's going to be a very bad start. Okay? Because that proposal is to have a good understanding is, do you have a project which is suitable? Do you understand what is involved? You know, what are the type of technology which are required behind that? So by reading the proposal, we will know if you are ready for that project or not. Okay? So maybe you don't need to do any writing during the summer, but your brain should be sufficiently active to have an understanding of what kind of technology, what kind of data. Okay? We spoke about finding the film sets. That would be a good idea to know where I could get those data. Otherwise, there is no project. You know, if you cannot get the list of the film sets. Or maybe you will need to use 5, 10 different databases to collect all that information. Okay? So that's some background work which would be very useful to do if you want to have a success project proposal. Then just before the Christmas break, you will be asked to demonstrate a prototype of your project. Okay? Because you need to start from day one. We are speaking about 10 hours per week. So at Christmas time, okay, you will have already worked hundreds of hours. So you should already be able to demonstrate that your project is advancing well, and there is something that you can present to your supervisor. And finally, the delivery of the project will be at the end of teaching block 2. It was last Monday for the current final year project, so it's almost exactly in 1 year time. You will have completed hopefully a fantastic project, and you will have finished with it. Okay, so that was the introduction I wanted to give. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, Graham is going to give you more details about the marking schemes and what is expected practically for all those projects. Any questions?
Excuse me, how many supervisors for the project there are?
You have one supervisor.
Just one.
Yeah, but you can work with any member of staff. Okay, so one person will have the responsibility of being your supervisor. But if you need advice for specific knowledge, you will work with other people as well. So everybody is going to everybody can contribute to your project, but there is one person who is the supervisor in charge.
It's also worth pointing out that there you have a supervisor and a second marker, and they are the two people who will assess your work.
Yeah, so your work will be assessed by two people. So someone who knows you well, so your supervisor who has seen you every week, and someone who doesn't know anything about your project, and we will assess it according to what you have produced, which means a report, a presentation, and a product or something. Yeah. No, that will be at the end. Yeah?
Would you recommend that, actually, do you think that the design project is like as good as a field project for your CV, let's say?
I mean, it depends really on your job prospect, what you want to do in the future. If you want to become a developer, you need to make a build project. Okay. But in some consultancy firms which are designing solutions, they would more appreciate a design project. So, I mean, if you have doubts, speak to your personal tutor, speak to us, because it depends really on what you want to do and what your project is. Anybody? Okay, so thank you very much, and now Greg will